Hello, everyone, and welcome to a reading and analysis of William Shakespeare's Hamlet. Today, we tackle one of the shortest scenes in the play, and that would be Act 4, Scene 2. So where we last left off, the King Claudius and the Queen Gertrude had discussed plans to send Hamlet away to England, and Rosencrantz and Guildenstern were tasked with tracking him down and retrieving him. But that's not the only thing they're supposed to find. They're also supposed to find the body of Polonius, who Hamlet has murdered and chosen to hide the corpse somewhere in the castle. Polonius is, of course, the father of his girlfriend. So some crazy stuff has happened. Let's dive into 4-2. Great start to a scene. Hamlet just says, "safely stowed," referring to Polonius's body. Gentleman within, "Hamlet, Lord Hamlet, but soft, what noise? Who calls on Hamlet? Oh, here they come." So there's something about Hamlet referring to himself as Hamlet that I don't know if this is antic disposition or actual madness or just for laughs at this point. Who knows? Enter Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. "What have you done, my lord, with the dead body? Compounded it with dust whereto 'tis kin." So that's referring to the biblical idea of humans being made out of dust and when they die, returning to the dust. "Tell us where 'tis that we may take it hence and bear it to the chapel. Do not believe it." "Believe what?" "That I can keep your counsel and not mine own. Besides, to be demanded of a sponge what replication should be made by the son of a king." So Hamlet is setting up an interesting thesis here to this bit of prose, which is why should a sponge have any power to demand anything from a prince, the son of a king? Rosencrantz doesn't quite follow. He says, "Take you me for a sponge, my lord? Aye, sir, that soaks up the king's countenance, his rewards, his authorities. But such officers do the king best service in the end. He keeps them like an ape an apple, and the corner of his jaw first mouthed to be last swallowed. When he needs what you have gleaned, it is but squeezing you, and sponge, you shall be dry again. I understand you not, my lord. I am glad of it. A knavish speech sleeps in a foolish ear," meaning not understood. So if you don't understand what Hamlet just said, that's okay. He said that's the point. But it's not too hard to figure out. He's using two metaphors, right? He's comparing Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to a sponge and to a piece of an apple. And the idea of the sponge is that they are soaking up all the good fortune of the king, his favors, his praise, any monetary rewards they're getting for doing Claudius's service, i.e. spying on Hamlet and fetching bodies for him and fetching Hamlet to send him off to England, right? They're following the king's orders, kind of going behind their best or one of their former close friends, Hamlet's backs. So like a sponge, they are sucking up all this favor or soaking up all this favor from the king. But when the king is done with them, just as you do when you finish using a sponge, you wring it out. And that's what's going to happen to them. Sandwiched in between that sponge imagery is the idea of a piece of an apple that it says like an ape might eat this way. I don't know if this is how apes eat, but the idea of taking a bite of an apple and keeping it in the corner of your mouth, first mouthed, last to be swallowed. So they're just something to be used, whether it's a sponge or a piece of an apple. They're just here for a moment until the king doesn't need them anymore or is ready to dispose of them. So Hamlet is warning them, but they don't quite follow what he's saying. "My lord, you must tell us where the body is and go with us to the king. The body is with the king, but the king is not with the body. The king is a thing." Make of that what you will. "A thing, my lord? Of nothing. Bring me to him. Hide fox and all after." So I think we get some antic disposition there, right? The hide fox and all after we think might be a line from like a children's game, like hide and seek, like something you might call out. But Hamlet is like playing all this up. He's playing like he's a fool. He's speaking in strange mixed metaphors, but there's a method to the madness, as Polonius said, and we can follow him with his line of thought, even if Rosencrantz and Guildenstern cannot. But that ends 4-2. Very short scene, right? Long play, but it's got some short scenes in there. So that concludes 4-2. Hey, you know, I'm always talking about these things, these field notes, and you might wonder why. I don't really go into too much detail about them just at the end of these videos. But if you're interested in why I love field notes so much and other notebooks, there's a link down in the description to a video that I made about my favorite notebooks and how I use them. So feel free to check that out. And if you're interested in buying any field notes yourself, there's a link for 10% off your first order, and it comes back and helps out the channel greatly. It's what makes these streams financially viable. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Do my best to get to all of them. And I will see you in 4-3, where we have a slightly longer scene, and we'll get to spend a little more time reading it together. Keep up the great work. We are getting closer and closer to the conclusion of the play. Until next time, happy reading.